Anyway, my name's Kevin Healey, and Bus was a good friend of mine. I met him around 1980. My friend Harley James introduced me to Bus. He was doing a gig with the Boyk6 brothers in Longview, Washington. And Harley, I think, was substituting on the band, and Bus was playing. And so I had just moved to Portland then. And Harley, I think, had told me about this. Well, I'm going to ramble here a little bit. But Harley had told me about this fiddle player that I needed to meet. And he was right. I did need to meet that guy. So we rode in the car up to Longview, Washington. And I remember Harley packing his steel up this big set of stairs. It was an upstairs ballroom. And boy, I felt bad for those steel players. They got so much gear to carry. And us fiddlers kind of get off easy. Anyway, when I heard Bus play the first time, my jaw dropped, literally. His tone was so pure. He wasn't playing things real fancy. He just played the simple stuff, and he played it with such a pure tone and so in tune, I couldn't believe it. So that was my first impression of Bus. And needless to say, we hit it off. We enjoyed same kinds of music, jazz and all, Western swing. Bob and Donna Boyk have been really generous as far as their time and allowing me to spend time with Bus. There's some stories here that Bus actually wrote down. If anybody had time to hear Bus's stories, I heard them. I heard a lot of them several times over, but there's stories here that I never heard. So here's one. This is called "Here's a Laugh on Me." This is something that Bus wrote. It says, in 1942, we were doing a club date in Seattle. The group was the Rancho Serenaders. We were booked by a lady booking agent named Eleanor Hansen. She had an all-girl band that played for the acts. Of course, the band was placed near the stage in the front. Anyway, when it was our turn to play, we opened up with a rip-snorting cowboy tune called El Rancho Grande. This time, I had not zipped up the fly on my cowboy. And when I was out there playing, I wasn't aware of the situation. The crowd was all Navy men in uniform. I noticed while I was playing that the guys were all laughing and having a great time. I was thinking, boy, they're really liking us. Finally, one of the guys in the band let me know what was happening, and I quietly slipped off into the curtains and zipped myself up. That is really stopping the show the hard way. I'll never forget that one. So, there's Bus having a laugh on himself. There's other ones. Who else has something to say? Otherwise, I'll keep reading these stories.
Go ahead. Keep going, Kevin.
You want another one?
Yeah.
Okay. What's that? Well, there's so many of them that I'm trying to find one that's stellar. There's one about, Bus had a lot of careers. He didn't just play with the Sons of Golden West. He started playing on the radio when he was probably just out of high school or in high school. He had a radio show in Everett, Washington with a guitar player from Texas. And he told me that and there was another guy that was influential in his early career, and he said that they would go to the Goodwill store and buy stacks of sheet music and just read through them and learn them. And I really think that Bus, he knew more tunes than anybody that I know. He knew more. Isn't that right, Paul? My friend Paul Anastasio can attest to that fact. As a matter of fact, he wanted Bus's list of tunes because Bus knew more tunes. He could play more tunes, and he knew the melodies to every tune that he played. He knew the exact melody. You couldn't stump him. We'd be playing a tune, and I might not know the melody. Bus always knew the exact melody to every tune. So I think that's just a testament to the kind of guy he was. He was very thorough about that kind of thing. Now, we're going to find out the story here. The Danish village in Greenland, the bomb scare in England, close call in 1945, USO show in Greenland,
You read the book?
Yeah.
England.
I was looking for it.
I'm looking for one where, let's just find
What's that?
one.
The book about history.
I remember we were reading some of the stories, and I can't remember some of them that we read.
What's that?
There was one really funny one. I
Uh,
can't remember.
No, that's quite all right. You know, anybody else who wants to come up here and start talking is fine. But, okay, here's the USO show in northern Greenland, 1944. In 1944, I met two fine musicians in Greenland. One was Mike Boslego, an accordionist from Ohio. The other fellow was guitarist. I can't remember his name. They were GIs. We hit it off great musically, playing mostly the old standards and some cowboy tunes. I remember they put us on a Navy minesweeper. The three of us played music on the stern of the ship. We were en route to a base to play a show that evening. When we got there, we were ushered into a huge rec hall that had plank seats, and the room echoed like crazy. Our little USO unit consisted of 6 people: a magician, his wife, a girl singer from LA, and a girl dancer from San Francisco, and my partner, singer, guitarist, comedian, and me on fiddle. It says, I believe the 2 GI musicians and I were to open the show. We thought we would just go out and do a few numbers and get off. Well, it didn't work out that way. You see, we were playing for a huge hall full of U.S. Marines that had been up there for 24 months and had seen no entertainment. And they just went nuts. They were yelling and pounding their heavy boots on the heavy floors. I had never heard such a din in my life. It sounded like thunder. After a few numbers, we would run off, take bows, and the guys would keep calling us back, and we'd run out and do some more. Well, you know, an opening act isn't supposed to do that. Stop the show. No, I don't remember how many encores we got, but it was a lot. I bet we were out there 30 minutes. Anyway, the rest of the troupe were waiting to go on and do their thing. After a while, it was growing on our manager, the magician's nerves. The manager was the magician, because he was supposed to be the star and the headliner. He said to my partner, Glenn Larson, "What is Bus trying to do out there?" Believe me, it was completely out of my hands. I was just trying to do my job. So, there's a lot of stories in here. But I think anybody who saw Bus knew that he had that vaudeville thing going, and he knew how to play to the audience, and that's what he did. He wasn't a fireworks kind of flashy player. He played things that he thought would mean something to the people out there, and that's why he got standing ovation when he played. He just had that smile, you know. I think that's about it for me.